Shabbat Shalom. Glory and honor to the Father Yahweh, the God of heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, the creator of all things, and the creator and the one that called his chosen ones, Israel. Glory and honor to the name of Messiah, Yahushua, who is the Father's expression of grace to us, who is the high priest, who is the all prophet of all prophets, and the soon returning king of planet Earth, given to him from Father Yahweh. Glory and honor to his name. Greetings to the 12 tribes of Father Yahweh, scattered into the four corners of the earth. The 12 tribes, who are the 12 tribes which are the body of Messiah. And to the 144,000 among them, who are the forerunners of the return of Messiah and calling of the chosen ones out of Babylon. Greetings also to the precious Gentiles who have turned to the Father, the God of Messiah, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, and have received the perfect righteousness and the truth of the word of the Most High and of who the true Hebrews are. Greetings to those. Greetings to the chat Hebrews, Rhonda, Only One Way, Angry Britches, Lisa M. Smith, greetings. Greetings, Brother Naviska and his family, Brother Stephen Kelly, Brother Gary Joseph Yafi, Brother Superstar and his family. Greetings, Brother Diamond Holdings and Brother Tommy Going. Greetings to all of you. We are now have begun. Isha Shama, greetings to you and to Brother Shama. We have now begun our study in the prophecies of Daniel. We have went through 2 chapters of Daniel, very important chapters, especially chapter 2, as we talked about the image that Nebuchadnezzar dreamt about, the image that was shown to Daniel, and the interpretation that sets the stage for the rest of Daniel, which sets the stage for the last days. And again, let's go through that in part in Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2. That last part that talks about the kingdom and the iron. Now we're going to come back to this again once we get to chapter 7. This is also going to come up in chapter 7. But today we're going to be dealing with another statue. And this is going to be important in terms of not only the end times and the image to the beast, but in the mark of the beast ultimately, but also in terms of mankind and our relation as the chosen people in this earth. Let's take a look, first of all, at Daniel chapter 2 and the end of the image where Daniel saw and Nebuchadnezzar saw the kingdom of Father Yah established. Now, let's start at verse 40. Daniel chapter 2, verse 40, beginning at verse 40 and going down to verse 45. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And so the iron we know is the Roman Empire, and more particularly the Holy Roman Empire. And we know that that extends all the way to now. How do we know? Verse 41 down to verse 45. Whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. But in the days of these kings, now notice the iron goes all the way to the feet. Okay, which is why I say the Empire of Rome, or the Holy Roman Empire's influence, extends all the way to the end of the Babylonian age, of the age of modern Babylon, extends all the way to the end of it. So you know that Rome is the power of the iron behind everything you are seeing today. Okay? And the Most High is showing us this, and the world does not see it. Even if they think they see it, they don't understand it. Okay, Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great Most High hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So when we talk about the iron coming all the way to the end, and we talk about the Holy Roman Empire, when I say Holy Roman Empire, what I am talking about is the religious power. The religious power. There was no such thing as a Christian church or a Catholic church at the time of the Messiah. Let me say it again. There was no such thing. It did not exist. A Christian church, or more specifically, a Catholic church at the time of the Messiah. And in spite, as we have went through and studied, what they tried to tell you, Peter was not the first pope. There was no pope among the Hebrew Israelite disciples because they were all Hebrew Israelites, as all the prophets of the Bible are Hebrew Israelites. The Catholic Church did not come into existence until the 4th century AD. And with its establishment came the establishment of modern Christianity, because all, and I mean all, of the Christian churches that exist today have their roots in Roman Catholicism. Because all, and I mean all, of the Christian churches that exist today came out of what was called the Reformation. From whence you get Protestants called Protestants, and you get Protestant churches or institutions. Every single last Christian church that exists today came from the Protestants of the Reformation, and they have their foundations in the Roman Catholic Church. So that every Christian denomination today, every last one, has its roots in Rome, and Rome, therefore, by right, has the right to infiltrate and take over every single one, which is why the Jesuit order was created. So that now Christianity, as you see it, is an extension of the Holy Roman Empire. And not only do you obviously see that, what you have in the Roman Catholic Church is a church that's headquartered at the Vatican, what's called the Vatican in Rome, Italy. And it's not only a religious body, it is also a state. What do I mean by that? That means it's a country. The Vatican is a country within a country. So what does that mean? That the Pope, who is the head of the Catholic Church, is not only the head of his Christian denomination, but he is also the head of a country. He's the only individual on planet Earth that is the head of both a religious body and a nation. So that all Catholics, anywhere on the earth they are, answer to the Pope, no matter what country they're in. They answer to the Pope and to his nation. All Catholics, including the President of the United States, including the governor of Florida. All Catholics. They answer to the Pope above any constitution, above any other nation's laws, above any other God. They answer to the Pope of Rome above all. So that, as you now can see, I'm giving you a small, tiny grain of sand on a giant seashore. I'm giving you a very, very small tip of an iceberg that's underneath, like a mountain underneath the water. So that when you understand what I just said, and you understand that in the Supreme Court of the United States, 7 of the judges are Roman Catholic, and you understand that there's various Christian denominations in the Congress and the Senate, all answering to the mother denomination. Now you understand there's a mixture already of religion and politics. That is why there is the iron in the feet. We're going to see more of that as we get to chapter 7. But what I wanted to illustrate here in chapter 2 was the fact that Daniel not only showed Nebuchadnezzar, as we know, what he was thinking about before he fell asleep. Not only did he show him what exactly he dreamt about, he interpreted it for him, and this blew Nebuchadnezzar away. And as a man, Nebuchadnezzar being a man and being a human man, a man that is a heathen man, not a Hebrew, not somebody of the 12 tribes, but man that worships multiple gods, other gods, he started to worship Daniel. Daniel chapter 2 from verse 46 to 49. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered and said unto Daniel, of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods, a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man and gave him many gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and the chief governors and over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. So let's talk about this. It's called Babylon for a reason, brethren. Babylon, it came from Babel under Nimrod, as we know. And Babel, because it was confused because of the languages, Babylon means confusion. What I mean by that, when I say is, they are fickle. They can go one way, one wind, and another way, another wind. What always, though, you must remember, which is a common thing of all mankind, is man can't handle certain things. Man cannot handle power. Man can't handle power. In fact, the Bible tells us in Psalms 61, no, I'm sorry, it's Psalm 62. Psalms 62. I'm going to begin at verse 1. It's only 12 verses, but it's verse 11 and 12 we really want to watch here with regard to power. Psalm 62. Truly my soul waiteth upon Yah. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. How long will ye imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing wall shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. My soul, wait thou only upon Yah, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In Yah is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in Yah. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. Yah is a refuge for us. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are altogether lighter than vanity. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. Yah has spoken once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto Yah. Also unto thee, O Yah, belongeth mercy, for thou renderest to every man according to his work. Power belongs to Father Yah. And so when man tries to handle what doesn't belong to him, he gets messed up. No man can handle power. Power was given from Father Yah to Messiah. And Messiah said, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Given to Messiah. Messiah being the lamb that was slain, being the prophet of all prophets, being the Father's high priest and the soon coming king, is shown himself worthy to handle power. No man other than him is worthy. So what happens, brethren, is when man gets power, he begins to be corrupted. Solomon was a prime example, and we've seen what happened to him. And then there were other kings in Judah and in Israel, the northern kingdom. And if you watch their ages, how long some of these kings lived, most of them died between 50 and 60, whereas their fathers lived to be 100 years old. Abraham lived to be 175, and Isaac lived to be 180. Jacob lived to be 147. Joseph, even while he was in Egypt, lived to be 110. And of course, Levi lived to be 137. I mean, Moses lived to be 120. So they were all in the 100-year range. But when the kings of Israel, the blessed, they lived to be, David only lived to be 70. And then his descendants were in their 50s, some younger when they died. Why is that? Because they had power and it corrupted them. They can get whatever they wanted, anytime they wanted. And that always corrupts us. But man is constantly fighting for power. In fact, let's take a look at Psalm 49. Psalm 49. Psalm 49. Talking about the powerful. In Psalm 49, let's see. I'm going to start at verse 1 and go down to verse 12. Psalm 49 from verse 1 to verse 12. Hear this, all ye people. Give ear, all ye inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. I will incline mine ear to a parable. I will open my dark sayings upon the heart. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, when iniquity of my heels shall compass me about? They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, none of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to Yah a ransom for him. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceases forever. That he should still live forever and not see corruption. For he seeth that wise men die, likewise the fool, and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. So you hear what he said. Their inward thought is that their houses, their kingdoms, their authority, their land shall continue. Their name shall continue forever. That's what they all want. That's what people with power want. Okay, that's what they want. They think they're going to continue forever because they believe the lie that the devil said when he said, you can be a god and you won't die. Thus, you can be a god and you won't die. Yah told you you're going to die. He lied. You could be a god and you won't die. And so they believe that. They go after power. They corrupt themselves by oppression. And the more power they get, the more they want. You'd think a billionaire would have enough, but no, they don't have enough. They're always looking for more. Okay, they're always looking for more. So power corrupts. Okay, power corrupts. Now, what does that got to do with Nebuchadnezzar? Well, we saw he bowed to Daniel. We saw he told Daniel, there's no God like yours. We saw him promote Daniel, but after all of that, he had the nerve to make his own image after what he saw in his dream, except the image that he made wasn't made of gold and silver and brass and iron and clay. The image he made was all of gold from top to bottom. What do you suppose Nebuchadnezzar was trying to say when he made this image all of gold? Recall that Daniel told him, you represent the head of gold. And after you are going to be three other kingdoms. And at the end of all of these kingdoms, these is going to be destroyed, the whole thing. And the Father Yah is going to set up his kingdom that's going to last forever. So what was Nebuchadnezzar trying to say? Nope. I'm going to establish a kingdom that's going to be mine. And my kingdom is going to last forever. This is the thought of the king of Babylon, as the Bible showed us. Not only that, it is also the thought of modern Babylon. Same thought. Nothing has changed. Now, let's ask a basic question. What kingdom in the history of planet Earth has lasted forever? What kingdom in the history of planet Earth has lasted forever? There is no kingdom in the history of planet Earth, none, that has lasted forever. And why? Because the Father says their inward thought is that their kingdom, but they're going to still perish. They're going to all die. Kingdom's not going to last forever. And then, of course, we know from things like greed, right, and a lust for power, man will destroy himself eventually, right? So, that being the case, if we didn't even know about any Most High, if we didn't even know about any Most High, if we didn't know that there was a creator, just based on the fact, and I don't care if you want to say this earth is 6,000 years old, 6 million years old, or 6 billion years old. There is no kingdom that ever existed that lasted forever. None. Therefore, you can know that the kingdom we're now in, just by virtue of that, is going to come to an end. Right? The kingdom that we're now in is destined to end. Just by logic. Because no kingdom ever lasted forever. And let me ask you another basic question. Has the morality, the moral structure of mankind improved over time? Been the same or gotten worse? What are you telling me now? Has the moral structure of man gotten better? Has he become more kind? Has he cares more? Does he become less greedy? Is he less lustful? Is he less perverted now than he was before? No, he is worse now than he ever was. So, with the decline of the moral nature of man and the fact that no kingdom has ever lasted forever, and if you go back through the kingdoms, just think about the kingdoms, what caused their downfall? The most powerful kingdoms all fell because of lust for power and greed and just lust. So that no kingdom ever lasted because they all be destroyed from within. Even the most powerful ones. Okay? So, that being the case, we already know without even reading the Holy Book that the American Empire, the European Empire, the United Nations are destined to come to an end. Now, the Bible says that the earth itself will last forever. That there will be an earth. Okay? So let's put that together. If we believe what the Bible says, so that the earth will continue. It will never stop. Okay? Sun rising, sun setting, moon, stars, never stop. The earth will continue. So, what do we have then? We have a situation where earthly kingdoms will come to an end and the earth will continue. That's logical. Earthly kingdoms will come to an end, but the earth will continue. Now we go further into the Bible and understand what Daniel said. The God of heaven, the creator of the earth that will last forever, who put the sun, who hung the sun up in the sky, that one. He said he's going to establish a kingdom that's going to last forever, and it will not be left to other people. So now what do we have? All the earthly kingdoms going to be destroyed, either by themselves or by the Father. Well, Father said he's going to do it. And we're going to have a kingdom that's going to last forever. Okay? So what you see now is not going to work, not going to last. Okay? Not going to last. What the word tells us is what's going to happen. Because look, we've had a lot of history in the earth already. And the Bible predicted everything that's going to happen based on his word. Everything. Without missing anything. Okay? The only time people think the Bible is wrong is because they don't read the Bible. And they try to give you interpretations on their partial understanding because of, again, man's pride. Man's pride is strong. Man's pride is strong. And, you know, we being Hebrews can totally understand stiff neck, right? We being Hebrews, we totally understand. We got our PhD in stiff neck. Of course, we also got our PhD in behind whoopings. Don't we? Okay. Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3. So now we're going to be comparing Revelation 13 to Daniel 3. And why would we do that? Because both Revelation 13 and Daniel 3 have Babylon in it. Both Revelation 13 and Daniel 3 have an image in it. Both Revelation 13 and Daniel 3 have a death penalty in it based on worship. Okay? All right. So Revelation chapter 13 and Daniel 3 have several things in common. Again, let's talk about them. They both have Babylon in it. They both have worship in it. They both have an image in it. They both have a death penalty tied to worship in it. Both of them. So we're going to be comparing these two. The title, of course, in the message that you might have seen, if you dance to the music in Babylon, you're going to pay the piper. Let's go to Revelation 13 first and talk about what I'm talking about. Revelation chapter 13. Revelation chapter 13. Now, we need to go to chapter 17 first, just to connect Babylon. So that Revelation chapter 17 from verse 1 down to verse 5. Revelation 17, 1 through 5. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So remember, this is an important point. He was carried away in the spirit into the wilderness. The word wilderness is a desolate area. So in other words, the woman wasn't seen until he was carried away and saw her. Okay. So he carried away, saw this woman. She's sitting on a beast with 7 heads. Remember that. And 10 horns. Okay. Remember that. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead, that is the woman in the wilderness's forehead, was a name written, Mystery. Again, she's in the wilderness and she's a mystery. She is secret. Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So now let's go back to Revelation 13. And when you're looking at Revelation 13, you're going to see the same beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, but you will not see the woman. Why won't you see the woman? You will see the beast, but you're not seeing the woman. Why won't you see her? Because she is operating in secret, so that the earth doesn't know. We know because we're looking at the word of the Most, because we're reading the word of the Most High. That's why we know. And we are chosen to know. But the world won't know. So they won't see that she's in secret riding this thing. We know it because we just read it. So now when you're looking at this beast in Revelation 13, understand there's a woman riding her. Okay? Revelation chapter 13, beginning at verse 1 and going down from verse 1 down to verse 4. Okay, Revelation 13 from verse 1 to verse 4. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Same beast. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. Bear, lion, leopard. Remember that. We're going to see that in Daniel. Okay. And the dragon being the devil, and the dragon, Satan, gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. See, all the world wondered after the beast, not knowing, not understanding that there's a woman riding her. And they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. Okay. So we have this power. And there's this secret woman riding her. Okay. There's this secret woman riding her. And the whole world worships her and doesn't realize it. They don't realize what they're doing. And in worshiping her, they're also worshiping the devil. The whole world, it said. Because the devil gave it power, seat, and authority. It created this whole thing. Now, remembering that and understanding how you're looking at Babylon, take a look here at the same chapter 13. But now let's begin at verse 11. Verse 11. Watch. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So again, the dragon is the devil. In the first instance, we saw the dragon give power, seat, and authority to this beast, 7-headed, 10-horned beast. In the second instance, the dragon is revealed again, but this time he's in a disguise. He's in a disguise where he's looking like a lamb. He's not really a lamb. He looks like a lamb, but it's really a disguise because he's a dragon. What does a lamb represent in the Bible? What does a lamb represent in the Bible? It's an easy one for anybody, even if you casually read the Bible. That's right. The lamb is Messiah. So wait. Here's a power that rises up that supposedly represents Messiah, but it really is the dragon. Wait a minute. Let's say it again. So there's a power, a nation, a kingdom that rises up, and it's apparently looking like Messiah, like it's supposed to represent Messiah, but it's not representing the Messiah because it really is a dragon. What nation on the earth today claims to represent the Messiah? There's only one. There's only one nation on the earth. No, the Pope is the first beast. That's the first beast. The 7-head, 10-horn beast with the woman on it, that's Rome. Give me another nation, though. That's not Rome. That was the first one. This is the second one. This is the second one. Outside of Rome, you have one other nation that represents Messiah. That is the United States of America. So the first beast is Rome. Remember, the woman is representing Rome. And she's running things in secret. You have this whole system, and she's running it. She's riding it. Nobody knows it. The second one is the United States of America, a so-called Christian nation, but the Bible is showing us what it really is. The Bible says it only looks like a lamb, but it really is a dragon. Okay. Watch verse 12 now. Verse 12. Revelation 13 and verse 12. And he, that is the United States, exercises all the power of the first beast before him. Now, I just got to tell you this. When you look at the words before him, when you look that up in the Greek, what it means is in whose presence. In other words, it's like the first beast is supervising the second beast. And he's allowing the second beast to exercise the same power that he had. And what did it say about that beast? It said the dragon gave its power, seat, and authority. What else did it say? It said the whole world follows after it, and that it blasphemes the God of heaven. So let me ask you, how popular is the United States of America? I mean, is it popular? Do people want to come here? Is it the people trying to get in? Is it influential? Yeah, there it is. It exercises all the power of the first beast before him. Okay? Verse 12. Watch verse 12 now. Watch now. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. And watch the second part. And causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So it uses its influence to cause the earth to have respect and honor to the first beast. So let me ask, does the United States government honor the Pope of Rome? And if they do, can you give me a way of tangible evidence that this happens? Does the United States honor the Pope of Rome? And can you give me tangible evidence that this has happened? Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. If, let's say, for example, you have a president of the United States, right? And the Pope came to visit the president. The Pope flew to the United States to visit the president, okay? And let's say the president, usually when somebody comes to visit the president meets you at the White House. You show up, they give you a limousine, you show up at the White House and you can meet the president, right? But this case, the Pope was at his plane and they put a red carpet out and the United States president came in the rain and met the Pope, and the president's wife, who's basically an atheist, was covered in black because she had her face covered, shamefaced, and they met the Pope. Would you say that was giving honor to the Pope? Would you say that would constitute giving honor to the Pope? Well, that happened. That president was Bill Clinton. That was Bill Clinton. Okay? That was Bill Clinton. He did that. He went out to St. Louis. The Pope came out there and it was raining and he waited out in the rain like everybody else. And his wife, Hillary, was in black and they met with the Pope. Then let me ask you this. Just to demonstrate his power on the earth, the Pope came again to the United States. This U.S. president again met him on the tarmac with the red carpet with his wife shamefaced. They came back to the White House. They gave a birthday cake because it was the Pope's birthday. And after the Pope met the president at the White House, he went out to RFK Stadium and had a giant mass, tens of thousands of people. And then, so he came to the United States as a dignitary at the White House. Then he came as the head of his church to RFK Stadium, but he wasn't finished. Then he went to the United Nations and addressed the United Nations as the head of his country. Then after he went and addressed the United Nations, he went to Yankee Stadium and had another giant mass with tens of thousands of people to demonstrate he's the head of his state and the head of his church, and he owns the United States president. That was George Bush. And I can give you a similar story with every president. Okay? So he exercises all the power of the first beast before him and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Y'all got that part so far? Yeah, that was W. That was George W. Bush. That's right. And his wife, Barbara. Okay? But since Ronald Reagan, every president has gone to the Vatican and received mass from the Pope. Every president has done it. Okay? It was Reagan, then Bush first, then Clinton, then Bush 2, then Obama, even Donald Trump. They all did it. Okay. Back to Revelation chapter 13. Now let's go from verse 12. Let's go to verse 13. And he, verse 13, Revelation chapter 13. And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So what does the United States do? That's a great wonder. It makes fire come down on the earth in the sight of men. That causes the earth to really be scared and do anything they say. What is it that the United States does that causes fire to come down on the earth. And they never receive this fire, but they certainly give it. Yes, it's called bombs. That's right. That's right. Ask Japan about that. Ask Iraq about that. Ask a lot of people. See, they've set off some stuff, and everybody know, don't mess with them, because they're crazy enough to kill everybody, including themselves. That's right. No other nation has done that to another nation, ever. Nobody. Only one nation. Only one. Okay, this is coming clear, isn't it? Let's continue. Verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, again, under the supervision. That's what that means, under the supervision of the first beast. Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by a sword and did live. There is the image. So he's saying, this modern balance, we're going to make an image in honor of the first beast. We're going to create an image. Not only that, Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. Watch this. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. The beast is a religious and political power. So something made in his image would be a religious and political power. That is Christianity coming out of the United States of America. Y'all saw following that? That's Christianity coming out of the United States of America. That's the image to the beast. That is the threefold Abrahamic religions of Christianity, of Judaism, and Islam, all under the control of Rome. And do you see that they're now being brought together? It's all happening right in front of us. And as a matter of fact, brethren, honestly, this would have already happened. In other words, they would already put this death decree up. Do you know what's stopping them? I mean, y'all know, right? What's stopping Asatan from actually putting out this death decree? What's stopping him from doing that? How come it's not out yet? How come he hasn't done it already? Everything's in place. Everything's in place for it to be done. Everything's in place. How come he hasn't done it yet? Y'all should know. How come? That's right. Because the Father is in control of everything. Because the Heavenly Father decides when they're allowed to take a step and when they can't. And what he has declared to us is hold the winds. Hold the winds. Until we have sealed the servants of Yah, and therefore it's hold the winds. See? And this don't mean nothing to the Father, except one reason. When you start to include the Hebrews, that's when you got a problem. You see, if this was just about the heathen and the Hebrews ain't have nothing to do with it, and we could just go on doing what we do in terms with Father and our Father Yah, there would be no problem. That would be their business. But now they're trying to include us in this foolishness. They're trying to force us into this foolishness because all of us are under the same Babylonian system. That brings me to Daniel chapter 3. Let's go back to Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3. So we have a beast. We have his image. And like I said, Father really wouldn't care about their images and all they do. But they trying to include Hebrews with their stuff. That's a problem. You see, brethren, as we said in the beginning, the four powers that we see represent the four powers that scatter Judah and Israel. Isn't that what they said? They put their hands on Judah and Israel and cause us to be scattered from our land. So there's been many powers in the planet Earth's history and many powers that have held Hebrews, because we've been scattered to the four corners of the earth, but only four that actually came to our land and take us off the land and cause us to be scattered, especially Judah. And that's when it matters. Okay? That's when it matters. Just so. Daniel chapter 3. Let's begin at Daniel chapter 3, beginning at verse 1, and read down to verse 5. Daniel chapter 3, from verse 1 to verse 5. Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold whose height was 80 cubits. 80 cubits, by the way, is about 90 feet. And the breadth thereof was 6 cubits, and had it set, and he set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. And when Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather, then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, and the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Did you notice who he called? Did he call the common people? Did he call the common people? Who did he call? It says he called princes, high society, governors, captains, judges, treasurers, counselors, sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces. So he wasn't calling everybody. He just called the top-notch people. He called the top of the pile people. He called the, 1% top people. Okay. Now we know that Daniel and his 3 friends were at the top of the pile. Daniel and then his 3 friends. Now you notice Daniel wasn't there. Why do you think Daniel wasn't there? Nebuchadnezzar knew better. He knew not to mess with Daniel. He had enough of Daniel. But his 3 friends was there. Called the 3 buddies. Oh, so he thought he was going to get over because it was Daniel's buddies? Well, we know very well. They're still Hebrew Israelites. Okay, so all right, let's take a look. So they had all these people out there. Chapter 3, verse 4. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Now, wait a minute. Why you think they used music? Brethren, you and I know very well, music has power. Music has power. And you know what? And if you were raised in any city, especially if you were Hebrew and you were by any city, any place you was at, if you was ever at a party, like a house party or a club, right? If you was at a house party or a club, I'm about to tell you something that you can totally relate to. The DJ has the ability to affect the mood of the crowd. He can make the crowd feel up and happy. He can make the crowd feel romantic, like men and women getting together and grinding. He can make that happen by the music. Or he can make brothers want to fight by his music, right? Y'all know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the power of the music. You can put music out and the DJ can do what he do and he can make you feel how the music wants you to feel. So if you want to get hyped, you want to work out, some of my best workouts, I have my earplugs on and I'm just going and don't realize the time. Why? Because my mind is in the music. I'm listening to the music and I might be listening to something that gets me going and I don't feel tired the way I would normally feel tired because I'm going. You see what I'm saying? Well, that means that they can use music to move you because music contains a spirit. It has to. Otherwise, it couldn't do that. Right? It has to. There's a spirit with music. And again, that spirit can bring you high. It can bring you low. It can make you happy. It can make you sad. It can make you feel whatever. Right? That's the power of the music. So what is he doing here? He's influencing the people to do what he's asked them to do. You're going to hear this music. And when you hear this music, I need you to bow. Hey, it's like some of these Christian churches. What do some of these clowns do? They get you with the music. They got the music going and you be going and they be saying some stupid stuff. You don't care what they say because you all into it. Right? Isn't that what they do? And you'll start reaching in your pocket and throwing out bills that you can't even afford to do it because the music got you. And you think it's the spirit. Well, it is a spirit. It's just not the Holy Spirit. You understand? So he got them all out there. They're all the powerful people. Because look, if you get the leaders, you got the common people, right? I mean, look, back in like, all right, let's just say like, I don't know, 1980. Let's say 1980. NBA players, you ain't hardly see one with a tattoo, right? You ain't hardly through the 80s, Magic, Kareem, Willis Reed, Bernard King, they had no tattoos. But then all of a sudden you go to the 90s and 96 comes and Allen Iverson starts putting on tattoos and wearing baggy pants. Guess what? You can't hardly find an NBA player today without tattoos because people are influenced. People are influenced by people they worship. And people in power always get that type of influence. You understand what I'm saying? So you put people in power and they do stuff and the common people follow. So that you go on the street now, you can't hardly find people without tattoos on. Because everybody is influenced by other things that they've seen. Generally, it's some athlete, it's some entertainer, it's some powerful person. Okay? So he had all of the powerful people out there, and then he gets them to play music. And everybody's ready to do what he's asked to do. Except the Hebrews. See, because the Hebrews are influenced by one thing. And the first commandment says, I am Yahweh that brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or the earth beneath or the water beneath the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them. Plain and simple. That means no statues, no images, no crosses, no brick buildings, no Talmuds, no Star of Davids, nothing. Right? Okay. Daniel chapter 3, verse 6. And whoso falleth not down and worship it shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. See, so there was a death penalty. But you know what? That's like saying like this. If somebody say, well, if you murder somebody and you're found guilty of first-degree murder, you're going to get an automatic death penalty, right? Well, for most of us, most human beings are going to say, that don't mean nothing to me. I ain't killing nobody, right? I mean, right? You're not going to commit premeditated first-degree murder, right? I mean, because you ain't going to do that. So, like, you're not worried about the death penalty because you ain't going out here to kill nobody, right? Live and let live, right? So if they say, well, whatever, if you are found guilty of premeditated first-degree murder, there's an automatic death penalty. Well, most people don't care about that because they're not planning on going out and killing anybody, right? Well, look here. If he said, look, if you don't bow to this image, when we groove it, I need you to bow to this image. If you don't bow to this image, you're going to get put in this furnace. Ain't nobody worried about that because they all will bow. It's no problem. That's not even an issue. They're not going to worry about no fiery furnace. Hey, let's do some marshmallows. We ain't worried about no furnace because they all going to bow. But not all. See, but that's how the mark of the beast and the image is going to be. They're going to be a death penalty, and nobody's going to imagine, why would anybody go against this? Why would anybody do that? Nobody would go against this, except the Hebrews. You see what I'm saying? Except the Hebrews. They're going to have a problem, and we know why. Because we are the people that keep covenant with Yah. Above everything else, we honor our Heavenly Father. And that's why we would not do this. Even if it sounds good, even if it's easy, even you just bow a little bit and go home and nobody's hurt. That's what most people want to say. Hey, listen, you just do it, man. Is it nobody's going to be hurt? Just do it. Listen, your God will forgive you. Just do it. And this can be done. Who would go against this? It's easy. But we won't do it because of the Father's grace upon us, because of the perfect righteousness we're being covered in. We won't do it. Okay? And then there is going to be a problem. Daniel chapter 3, beginning at verse 7 and going down to verse 11. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Remember, all the world wonders after the beast. And he had power to cause the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast. All the people, nations, languages fell down and worshiped the golden image. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews and spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down to worship it, that he should be cast in the midst of a burning fiery furnace. So look, I just want to make sure we got this straight. Everybody's supposed to bow, right? We hearing the music, right? Everybody's partying and bowing. That's what you're supposed to do. And you said that if they don't bow, they're supposed to be going into that furnace, right? They wanted to make sure they was clear. Verse 12. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. See, if you was to bring it today, if you was to bring it to the modern age, they would say, there's these people in this cult, and they refuse to be good citizens and obey the law. There's these people in this dangerous, violent cult, and they refuse to obey the law. They don't follow our laws. That's what they would say today. Okay? They're not going to call it the beast. They're not going to call it the image. They're going to say, we're the cult, and you're not following the laws. What, you don't believe in our laws? They're not, yeah. They call themselves Hebrew Israelites. Oh, them? Yeah. What corner are they on? They're not on the corner. They worship in different places. Some of this, I heard some on Main Street, some of them in this state on this street, some of them on that street, and they're getting together in groups, and they will not do what we're asking them to do. They're disobeying our laws. That's what's coming, y'all. And don't worry, you're not ready, and I'm not ready. But the Most High, in his mercy, is going to get us ready. Don't worry about that. Trust your Father. Trust his word. As you see it, so it shall be. Trust in his word. He's going to get you ready. Okay? You're not ready yourself, but he's going to get you ready. Okay? Don't worry. Father got us. All right? Verse 13. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. And Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you be ready, at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I set up? Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hand? You see how power corrupt? See how power corrupt? Who is that God that could deliver you out of my hands? Because you know what? Babylon, brethren, believe really that they are God, that their kingdom is going to continue forever. That's what they believe. See, in these last days, they're being believed as, even though we already said there's no kingdom that has lasted forever in the history of the earth, none. But they believe theirs is. And look, every kingdom previously, everyone, I don't care if it's the Chinese dynasties, the British Empire, don't matter. They all believed that their kingdom is forever. They all believed that, okay? And none of them were right. So, of course, here we are at the end where Asatan is in his last stand. So, of course, they're going to believe our kingdom is forever. And who is the God that's going to deliver you from our kingdom? Okay. Daniel chapter 3, verse 16. I love their answer. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we're not careful to answer you in this matter. When they said, we're not careful to answer you, what that mean? We don't have to think about it. There is nothing to discuss. No. We don't have to think about it. No. They're talking to the most powerful man on planet Earth at that point, as far as he knew. They're talking to the most powerful kingdom on planet Earth, and they're just saying, we don't have to think about it. There's nothing to talk about. No. Verse 17, they continue. If it be so, our Most High, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So whether he deliver me or he choose not to, I am not going to go against him. And you know what Job said? Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. That's what they said. Though he allow me to be burned up, I'm still not going to bow down to any other God but him. We don't have to think about it. No. No, sir. So now a man that's in power, a man that has power, a man that's used to getting whatever he wants, how is he going to feel about this? Well, let's read Daniel chapter 3, verse 19. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore, he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the fiery furnace, the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, their hats, and other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar was astonished and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the son of Yah. So, brethren, when our brothers decided they were not going to bow on pain of death against Babylon, and they had the death penalty on them, that's when the Father awakened and said, Messiah, Mashiach, Mikael, go and save our brothers. Go and save our brothers. And he was there. And so, as we say, just so with the mark of the beast, when they start to include us in it and telling us how we need to worship, that's when Father's hand will be moved. You and I are being prepared for that right now. We're being prepared now for that time. That's important. See, we have to understand, it's Father preparing us. We just got to allow him to do that. You know, we're all going to be brought into stuff so that we learn to trust our Father. Okay, all of us are going to be brought into situations, circumstances, constantly being tried so that we learn to trust our Father no matter what. Okay. Verse 26. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near the mouth of the furnace, mouth of the fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, ye servants of the Most High Yah, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth in the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and the captains, and the king's counselors gathered together and saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the Most High of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore, I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and this bad Negro shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and the bad Negro in the province of Babylon. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, brethren. See? So we can see what's going to happen. It's going to be a death penalty. See, it's not going to be a death penalty all at once. It's going to start off with fines. It's going to start off with threats, and then fines, and then you won't be able to buy or sell. All of that's going to come. And then at the end, when you're not able to buy or sell, when you lose all your stuff, and you're in jungles, and you're in deserts, you're all over the earth in different desolate places. Do you realize that there's more desolate places on planet Earth than there are inhabited places on planet Earth? There's more desolate areas than inhabited areas. Most people on planet Earth live in large cities. Most of the population of the earth live in large, like in the United States. Most of the population of the United States is in the big cities: New York, Philly, Boston, Atlanta, the giant cities, Chicago, LA, San Francisco. There's large parts of the United States that's virtually empty. Well, brethren, we're going to be in those areas, different countries. Some of us in jungles, some of us in deserts, some of us in mountain areas, and we're still not going to be fed by man or clothed anymore by man. The Father is going to be providing for us. And because of that, in the testimony we will bear, they're going to then try to kill us. Okay? They won't be successful, just like they weren't in Daniel chapter 3. But we're going to go through a whole lot of stuff right before that. Imagine now, you're outside, you're out here. Maybe if you're in Florida, you might be in the wilderness in the Everglades with the alligators. They ain't going to mess with you, though. Let's see, you might be in the wilderness in Colorado or Wyoming or someplace like that. You might be in the wilderness in Central America, in Brazil forest, in Colombia. You might be somewhere like that, out in Africa, somewhere. But they won't be able to mess with you. And none of the animals are going to mess with you, because Father got your back. He's going to provide for us. Okay, he got us. We could be anywhere, but we're going to be out there. Okay, that's showing you, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you trust in, like Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, you trust in your heavenly Father. And when you trust in your heavenly Father, guess what he's going to do? He's going to come through for you. And so they're going to come to try to kill you. They're going to be using heat-seeking devices, radar, airplanes. They're going to be using people on foot, dogs. They're going to be using everything to come and get you. All your family, all your relatives, all your former church members that used to go to church with, they're all going to be telling you, they went this way. They went out there. I think they're out there. They're going to be doing everything they can to turn you and I in. Your cousins, everybody. I know you can't believe it. Everybody. Because it's life or death right now. What, you think there was the only 3 Hebrews out there? You think them 3 was the only 3 Hebrews out there? See that? So, brethren, we're going to learn to trust our Father. He's teaching us now. When he brings us out there, he's going to have us prepared. When they come for us, it's not us that's going to have the problem. They're going to have the problem. Praise the Most High Yah. Praise the Most High Yah. They're going to have the problem, not us. Our faith in our God is going to deliver us. Okay? He's preparing us now. And so just continue, please. Read your Bible. Start in Genesis. Continue reading. Don't stop till you get to Revelation. When you finish, do it again. Pray to your Father. Ask him for his spirit. These are the tools that you need. Ask him for the faith. It's going to take faith and patience to read through this book. It's going to take time. Don't worry about that. Just read. Be a learning student. Be a humble student to your Father. And let him teach you, his spirit. Let him teach you. And as he's teaching you, he's going to learn, you're going to learn, you're going to learn. And you're going to grow in strength. You're going to grow in power. You're going to grow in the spirit. He's going to have you ready so that when it's time to go, you'll be ready to go. Okay, now we're all going to be tried, just like our fathers was in the wilderness. All of us going to be tried now. But he's going to have prepared us for that time. Okay, we'll be battle tested and ready to go. Praise the Most High. And how old you are don't matter. Moses was 80 years old when he led the children of Israel out of Egypt. Do you hear me? He was 80 years old. When Jacob took the 70 souls into Egypt, brother was $130. Okay, so don't worry about how old you are. If he has you to go at that time, you will go. Oh, Caleb the dog said, I'm 80 years old today, 85, and I'm just as strong now as I was when I was 40. Give me permission, and I'll take this land. You remember Caleb? You remember Caleb? That's right. So just continue to pray to your Father. He will guide you in the word. Continue to do that. Continue to humble yourself before the Father and let him teach us. He's always teaching us. He is going to have us ready. So it's his glory that we're dealing with, right? As long as that's the case, he's going to have us ready. So continue, brethren, to walk with your Most High Father through Messiah, Yahushua, his grace. May his spirit rest on you. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom.